Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Today we're having a look at a collection, a cacophony of different things. All of these are from Helikon Tex, and this is all about ponchos. Now, ponchos themselves are widely renowned as one of the most versatile outdoor garments. You can have ponchos, you can have poncho liners, there are different styles and types of ponchos. But they can be used to keep yourself dry, to keep yourself warm, but in a pinch as well, on the kind of the bushcraft side, the survival side, you can also use them as a shelter. Now today we're not really going to be looking at shelters. There are some absolutely amazing channels here on YouTube that do that, the kind of the bushcraft, the different ways you can set up a different tarp. Instead we're just going to be looking at these from the point of view of keeping yourself dry and keeping yourself warm. So there's a few different items here. One which is a bit of a left field kind of thing, but I thought what we'd do is we'd have a look at all the different items, all of the different kind of combinations in which you can wear these. My kind of favourite setup of all of these, and yeah, I thought we'd just have a laugh kind of having a look at these today. Now, I'll try to remember all of the different materials that these are made from and the names from these. There's some that have similar names. If I have to correct myself, I'll put something down here at the bottom, which is just a quick correction. Now, what I thought I'd start off with are two. I'm going to call these kind of these are kind of the old school. These are the more kind of traditional ones. So the first one here, this is the Swagman Basic, or the Swagman Roll Basic. There are two versions of these. One does have a pouch on the front, but this one is the version that doesn't have a pouch. So when it comes to you, it comes in a stuff sack. These are available in several different colours. I think they might even have a few camo versions of these as well. As far as the outer of this is concerned, this is made fully from nylon. This is made from polyester, and then the inside insulation on this is also 100% polyester. This one does keep you incredibly warm, so I'm just going to put this on. As you'd expect to wear the poncho, you have to put this on over your head. So with this one, this one's actually quilted. Hopefully you'll be able to see on the front here, you'll be able to see all of that beautiful quilting. The quilting is there to make sure that all of the lining on this doesn't split, doesn't move around, and holds it in place. But what it can do sometimes is, now personally I haven't been in a cold enough temperature with this, but I do know some people kind of have issues with quilting, because where the quilting and where that stitching goes in, it pinches the insulation. So people find that sometimes you get these kind of seams where you get a little bit cold with a quilted wubby or a quilted poncho liner like this. As I mentioned, I'm not that die-hard that I've been out in this and I've really felt this cold streak that goes through me, but some people have. I just thought I'd mention that. The way this works as far as its Swagman roll is concerned is that you have these closure points. So on the front you have two, and then on the back you have two. And then what you do is, so these are, I believe these are Woojin buckles. This can close up behind your back. So imagine I'm just kind of, that buckle's just clicked behind my arse. And then you have one that closes here on the front as well. So if you need to, you can put this over you. You can put your hands in just to keep your hands warm, and it acts more like an improvised kind of jacket. But what it also does is, when you've got it open like so, it can allow some air to get in through the sides. So just being able to close this off means that you can kind of close some of those gaps. What I have found is on most situations though, you don't need to do the one at the back. If you just do the one at the front here, then that'll still keep you nice and warm. Now both this version of the Swagman Roll Basic and the other version also have they have zips that go all the way around the edge here. So here's the middle zip. You can put this on and then you can close this up. So if you imagine, you can now fold this in half and zip it up. It means that you can also use it as a sleeping bag as well if you needed to. But for me, using it as a poncho liner like this, just on the pinch when I've been out and I've needed to stay warm and dry, then what you can do is that you can marry this up with the GI. Is it, they call it the GI? It's the US model. I keep wanting to call it GI because I've got GI Joe in my head. But this is the outer. Now, with the outer, these don't come together. You have to purchase these separately. You don't have to purchase this. But what I will say is that when you have the poncho on, having this underneath does help you to feel just that extra little bit warmer. So this is the poncho. I'm just going to put the hood up on this, mainly because... So we've got this on now. Now this is really your ultimate protection from the wind, from the rain, and I guess the snow as well. You can still keep a backpack on underneath here, and then you've got this on. So with the US model poncho, this is a heavier one. Now I'll say heavier one in the fact that there is a lightweight version of this. So I wouldn't consider this as heavy. I just consider this as normal. A lot of other ponchos that I've had that are similar to this are roughly the same weight. But of the two, this is the heavier of the two. So this is a 100% nylon. It does have a very fine ripstop weave to this. And as you can with a lot of other ponchos, which I kind of mentioned, you can turn this into a tarp. So what you'll find is in each of the corners you have a small eyelet, so that you can kind of put either some 550 paracord through this, so that you can use this for pegging things down, and then you also have one here in the center. Whereas down the sides, so with my arms out here down these sides, you actually have press studs on these. So what you can do is you can put these together, which means that when your hand's there, it actually tracks your hand and it moves around. There are also additional ones further down. This one here at the top, it's actually quite close to your cuff, whereas these other two, if I pop that one in there, and then the other one just down here. These are the two that are actually better to do. So what that'll do is that will stop some of that wind coming in through the side here, but because it's not as close to your wrist, it actually gives you a little bit more movement around. And then underneath, if you wanted to, of course, I could do the whole Swagman Roll thing, close that at the back, close this at the front, which is obviously you can't really see me doing this, but let's just pretend for now that I'm doing this. In fact, no, let's not play pretend, let's actually do it. So there, that's got that closed. And there you go, stopping the wind coming in, stopping everything from coming in. On the inside of this as well, you also have some, I don't think this is actually 550 paracord, but it's just some kind of polyester nylon style lacing. What you can do with this is, if you undo this, because there is a chance in the wind this is just going to go whoosh like that, what you can do is you can untie that, tie it around the back of you, and then it acts as like a small belt. If you do have your rucksack on and that kind of blowing around, then you know it is what it is with that, but really you want to keep the front of you warm and dry. So if you tie that around your waist, that will stop that from lifting, although I just did that and it's come undone while I was doing it, but that will stop that from coming up. Now I refer to this as kind of the old school kind of method, and that's because the poncho liner that I'm wearing with this is very similar to the US, the ones that they gave, or I think they still do give to their troops. and also the outer poncho. This is also, so this is the US model poncho. So it's you know, it's been around for a long time and it's been used for a long time, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Of the two setups, especially the one that we'll have a look at next, this is probably the most robust of the two. But I would say when you've got the poncho and when you've got the poncho line of the Swagman Roll Basic, these take up the most room when you've got this packed away in a bag. So, like with most things, there are pros and cons, there are advantages and disadvantages of them. This one is definitely the most robust solution of the two. Now, let's take these off. Put my hat back on. If you're enjoying today's content and you'd like to support my channel, the easiest way to do that is hitting that like button and also subscribing. If you choose to subscribe today, I'd like to say thank you and welcome to the community. Now, back to today's featured content. Now, next up, this is the Swagman Roll. So, different to the Swagman Roll Basic, the Swagman Roll, this one will actually fold up inside itself. And it's a lot more compact when you've got this away. These are again available in several different flat colours. They also do these in a few different camos. This one is in the Desert Night camo, which I freaking love, which everyone loves. In fact, let's hear down in the comments who loves DNC. But they also do a couple of reversible versions of this where you have one camo on the inside, you have another camo on the outside, which is also really nice. I wear this a lot. I generally do wear this a lot. Of the two poncho liners, you got the Swagman Roll Basic and the Swagman Roll itself. This one I wear the most. When this is on, as far as the warmth that you get from this, I certainly find that this one is the warmer of the two. So the original, or at least the Swagman Roll Basic, the outer on this so this one's polyester outer and a polyester insulation. The insulation on this, I believe, is still polyester, but this is the Climate Shield, which is the same that they use in the Wolfhound jackets. And it does a very good job of keeping you warm, and it's also lighter, it's also thinner, so you don't feel as though you're wearing a heavy poncho liner. Not that the one that we just looked at is particularly heavy, but this just feels a lot nicer when it's on. And the Climate Shield Apex, I think it's Climate Shield Apex, it just does more with less, so you can keep warmer with this. It's not a wind stopper material. The outer of this, this is made from a nylon, so instead of polyester and polyester, this is a polyester lining with a nylon outer. It feels a lot lighter as well, so it does a good job of stopping the wind coming through it. It doesn't completely stop the wind from coming through it, however it does a very good job. The difference as well that you'll find with the Swagman rollers, because this uses the Climate Shield is very good at being able to keep all of those internal fibres meshed together, so you don't need this to be quilted, which again, I've not struggled with the quilting on the Swagman Roll Basic, but there is no quilting on this. So for people that may be like, oh well, actually, you know, I've had issues in the past where I can feel the cold through those seams, you don't get anything, or at least I've not found it with either, but for the people that do, you should hopefully find that you find that less with this. This one does have a pocket here on the front, so if you need to put something into here, then of course you can do. But hopefully you've seen at the beginning, this comes with a stuff sack, so similar to you know, like a regular kind of stuff sack like that. But if you don't want to use that stuff sack, then it will completely stuff into this front pocket, so that you don't have to rely on that. In fact, since I've had this, I just haven't stuffed it into the stuff sack, because of how easy it is to put it into this. This does exactly the same. So you also have closure here on the front, which you can close behind your back, like, have I done that? Like so. And then you have one on the front here, which you can close on the front. Now, as I mentioned, I generally have worn this more than any other items that I have here, mainly because it's just so nice. Generally, it really is so nice to have this on, to the point where Mrs. Moorlander will get home of an evening and she'll put like a onesie on, because, you know, I call it the passion killer. So she'll put a passion killer on and I'll be like, well, that's a little bit cold, and I'll put this on. I'll sit, watch TV, watch the rugby, whatever it is that I'm doing, and I'll put this on because I can just sit down and I can curl up at home. It's a bit daft, but I don't care. Now, of course, with this, the outer shell, the outer material on this, like I meant, it's not wind stopper, but it does a reasonably good job. But there's other than maybe a very light DWR coating on this, it's not going to protect you from the elements. So that's where you have a couple of other options. The first one being, this is the Swagman scarf, which again, so this is all folded within itself, although I just hurriedly just kind of put it into it there. It folds into itself, and then there's a little piece of elastic at the bottom so that you can kind of put that round, and then you can get this away. But when you need this, you can roll this out or open this out, and then here, is that inside out? No, that's the right way around. So this itself, it's designed to be used as a scarf. It's called the Swagman scarf. It has the same zips, so this is the same as well. So this has the zips that run all the way round. If I wanted to, I could zip this up and you can use this as a sleeping bag. Of the two, this one actually makes the nicer sleeping bag of the two of these. But with the Swagman scarf, you can close this up similar to how you can with both of the other two. So if I zip this all the way around, and this can be used as a liner for the inside of this, which will just add that extra little bit of warmth, because so this is also fully polyester. I need to check that one. I tell you what, I'll check that one. I believe this I'm not sure if there's a tag on this. It feels, this one might be nylon actually. I'm not sure. Right, so whatever this is, this one actually does a little bit better as a wind stopper as well. So if you're using this, if you use this as a liner on the inside of here, it'll just allow you that extra little bit more warmth. But what you can also do is, you can also wear this as a scarf. Now, it would be better if you wore this underneath here, or if you've got a jacket on, you can wear this underneath as well, which will also add to that heat. Or what you can also do is, if you undo these zips, where are we now? Wear this over the outside. Now, with the Swagman scarf, the dimensions of the Swagman scarf are actually an extra little bit longer than the dimensions of the Swagman underneath. So if I put my arm out here, that's at full length. The sleeve, let's call this the sleeve for now, hopefully you'll be able to see it stops roughly where my wristwatch would be. You can see the end of my jacket just poking past there. Whereas with the Swagman scarf over the top, that goes down past where my wristwatch would be. So having this over the two creates a little bit more of a barrier for that wind. But then with the Swagman scarf, so if here are where here's where the ends of my hands are, there is a zip on here, so I can pull this zip down and then use the second zip, which I've just lost for a second. There is a second zip here, so I can now put my hand through there, and then you can do the same for this one. So if I pull this zip down and then open the top zip a little bit as well, so as you can see, so this now creates almost like a makeshift jacket over the top. So where that air might have come in through the sides, where have we just put that bit, you can zip this even further so that it kind of comes down closer to your sides. Same with this one as well. Now I'm murdering this at the moment really, because what I should have done underneath here is the Swagman Roll. I should have clasped that in at the back, clasped it in at the front. But hopefully, as you can see now, this almost works as an extra jacket that you've got over the top. The material on the Swagman scarf is okay in a light rain. Now I have actually been playing airsoft with the Swagman scarf. I've got a couple of different setups where why can't I find that zip? Oh, it's here. Sorry. I've got a couple of different setups where I wear like a leaf poncho, which is one of the things that we're going to actually have a look at today. And I wear this underneath it. And what that does is, the Swagman scarf, this material is better at keeping that wind off you. And it also has a little bit more water resistant kind of qualities as well. However, in a torrential rain, the Swagman scarf will eventually get wet through. So if it's a light rain and you've just got this setup, they work great together. But if you're after a true kind of waterproof setup, then that's where a proper poncho will come in. So I should probably take this hat off. I'm just pulling it off every time I do this, aren't I? So what Helikon Tex have recently released, this is the, I believe, did they call this the lightweight? Yeah, it is the lightweight poncho. So I've had this in my bag and I've actually been able to use this over the last couple of weeks. It's one of the things that made me kind of think of making this content today. So that original poncho, the US kind of model poncho, I refer to that as the heavier one of the two, which it's not necessarily heavy because it's just a normal poncho, whereas the lightweight poncho is definitely lighter. This too is also made from 100% polyester. It's also waterproof. It does have taped seams. Both of these, actually, the one that's on the floor and this one, has taped seams, as you'd expect from something that's waterproof. Now with the original one, if I just pick this up for a second, the reason that this one is kind of classed as the heavier option, or this is just your normal option, is the fact that the material this is made from is a heavier denier, but also you've got those metal eyelets in the corners where you can pass a line through, and then you've also got metal press studs here. Whereas the lightweight version, it has a lighter, still 100% waterproof denier ripstop polyester material to this, but in the corners, let's find a corner. So in this corner, rather than having an eyelet, what they've done is they've put some cordura on here, and then there's some webbing here. So this one still can be used if you want to do like a bushcraft tarp setup with this. You can still use this. Of the two though, I'd still probably recommend the US model poncho over this one. Mainly because it's just easier to set up. It's not that you can't set one up with this, but with these little bits of webbing, and they are reinforced when they're stitched onto this, so it's not just stitched straight on, they're having reinforcements around there. It's just a little bit easier to be able to get those on. And then with the other one where you had those really kind of strong, beefy press studs, these still do have press studs on here, but rather the press studs being directly onto the main material, because this material is a lighter material and I'm guessing they were concerned about it ripping. Instead, you have sewn into the stitch or sewn into the seams, you then have some more webbing, and then the press studs are sewn onto the webbing itself. So if I push that in there for now, and then I can get this up, it's inside out, and then I'll put this on. So there, so now we're on. My arms in the sleeves there. I could do the same to this side as well. So that will stop some of this from bellowing around because you've got those in there. Now with the GI poncho, I'm just checking the front, yeah, so with the GI poncho, it had that that cord on the inside so that you could tie it around you. Again, so that they can make this one a little bit more lighter. The stuff sack with this is really nice and small. It's just the same as any other sort of wind stopper, anorak or something like that. It's roughly the same size. If you've got the Tramontane jacket, if you've got the Wind Runner jacket, this folds down to roughly the same size. It is a pinch larger when it compacts, but at the end of the day, if you're out with a 25 to 30 litre backpack, the difference between those and this is it really is minimal. Now, referred to the original one, the one that we just looked at, is kind of the old school one, and it is the more robust version of the two. But of the two, this is actually my favourite setup. Before I got this, so the lightweight poncho has only been out now for about a month or so. So I've had this now for about 3 weeks. Before, I did just have the US military version and the Desert Night camo version underneath. That was kind of my perfect setup. But now that the lightweight version has come out, because I'm not having to concern myself with making tarps out of this, just simply using it as a poncho, then yeah, this setup is kind of my favourite at the moment. Now there is another one, but what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put the Swagman Roll scarf on, because this is a weird little setup that I've kind of been using whilst doing some airsoft, and it works really well. This is probably more suited for Moorlander tactical, but I thought I'd include it with this one just for the laugh. So as ponchos are concerned, this is the leaf ghillie poncho. Now when this comes out, I just need to hold on to this for a second. Let's put that there. As you can see with this, so this is, I believe this is all polyester, but it has that leaf suit material on here, 3D leaf suit material. So you can put the hood up on the Swagman scarf, and then you can put the hood up on this, so that when you have this on, the Swagman scarf does an excellent job of stopping the wind from blowing through here. But as far as a waterproof solution, if you're kind of, you know, hiding in a bush with this, it's not 100% waterproof. Having the Swagman scarf underneath here does a great job of keeping some water away. The only downside, and if I could give Helikon Tex some feedback with this, is the hood. The hood on this is laughably too small. You want this to try and cover, I mean, I've got a huge head. I do have a huge head. I've got a huge forehead. But you want this to kind of come down a little bit so that you can hide your face from stuff. There is a pull in the front here so that you can kind of pull this tight. But now you've got this pull right in front of your face, and it's kind of a bit weird. So my solution around that is this bit that I've got in here. So I've got one of these Stalker, what's the word? Balaclavas. So with a Stalker balaclava, you can put this over your face, tuck this down on the inside, have that on, then where's the hood gone? You can then pull the hood up. It's in my eyes for a second. You can then pull the hood up so that you get a little bit more cover, which out in the woods, if somebody was to walk up now, they'd be like, "Right, Moorlander, how's it going?" I'm like, "Yeah, no worries, just yeah, have a good day walking your dog," kind of thing. So yeah, there are other weird and wonderful poncho solutions that Helikon Tex provide as well. Now, as I mentioned, this is good fun, but they just need to work the hood on this. Having this works really well to wear underneath this, but it's just an extra item. But yeah, there you go, all in all. So here we have, so there was the Swagman scarf, which is designed to be a multi-purpose scarf that you can use as lots of different items, but for me, using this as a poncho or a poncho liner, it actually works the best. You've got the ghillie leaf suit, you've got the Swagman Roll, which for me, of the two versions, this is actually my favourite. This is the one that I wear the most. You've got the newer lightweight poncho, which does a very good job of keeping you dry and compact, a little bit smaller if you're concerned about weight and you're concerned about size. You've got the original US poncho, which is excellent. It's strong, it's robust, it still keeps you wet, still keeps you dry, but if you're after a solution that's probably more suited for bushcraft, although you still can do that with the lightweight one, this one does an excellent job. This is probably the better of the two. And then you've got the old school, the old fashioned, absolutely nothing wrong with the fact that it's old fashioned. It still works because, you know, these things were built to work. You've got the Swagman Roll, which is your kind of, your old school woobie poncho liner. So there you go. How many is that? Is that like 5, 6 different products, all from Helikon Tex, all centered around kind of ponchos and being out? So yeah, so there you go. Hope that worked. I hope that, I mean, there was a lot to look at there, and this is a wee little bit longer than usual, so I'll kind of cut to the end. But if there's anything that I've missed, if there's anything that you'd like to know more about these, then feel free to ask away down in the comments. I try to get back to as many questions I can do in the comments. But yeah, I'll certainly help out where I can. I'll leave some links below, so if you want to see where you can pick some of these up, whether that's from Helikon Tex. Here in the UK, my go-to place is always Military First. In fact, I think you can get everything here from Military First. Pretty sure you can get everything here from Military First, so I'll give them a good shout out because they're really good people, and I'll leave some Military First links below. I'll leave some of my social media links below so you can see more from me here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. And whether you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. This is a juggle act and a half. Today, for my first trick, we will be, watch, you'll be impressed by this. You ready? I've been practicing that all morning. I always need to double check the audio. You have to double check, because if you don't, you hate yourself when you get home. Now I've got an itchy face. I don't think my phone's on quiet. Oh, for frick's sake. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. Today's piece of content is on something that just randomly over the winter we've had a bit of a no, I don't know where the fuck I'm going with that one. You're an idiot. I feel like a manta ray with this. Like I should be able to fly with it. Or like Batman with his wingsuit in the Robin Pattinson version, because you can kind of put your thumbs through this, although I just fall to my death and just end up like a randy shaped pavement pizza. I think this is coming out on Sunday, pretty sure. In fact, I know this is coming out Sunday because we did a live stream last night, by the way, Beers and Gears. It's always the last Friday of every month, and I talked about some of these products last night. So yeah, this is definitely coming out today because you're watching this today, which is Sunday. Yeah, cool. See you soon.